But the whole point of this video and the whole point of this particular activity is to show that you can, with a little bit of mindful effort, transform a morning of errands, a gym session, a party, or a work day into words on the page. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Tara East. I'm a writer, blogger, YouTuber, and the author of the mystery novel Every Time He Dies. In today's video, I'm going to actually show you a little writing activity that you can do that can sort of diffuse the resentment we feel when we're not writing. Now, I'm sure you can relate to this. Every time you're not writing, when you're going out there and you're living your life, you're grocery shopping, you're cleaning the house, or you're going to your day job, and you're doing all of these things, and the whole time you're just kind of resentful about the fact that these activities and responsibilities are taking time away from your writing. I do also need to say though that I know it works the other way too, that sometimes when you're writing, you can feel this strange guilt or itchiness that you should be clocking in more paid hours, or that you should be, I don't know, baking a cake or something with some like immediate, obvious result produced from it. But in this particular video, I'm going to be focusing on that first problem, the problem of feeling resentful about all this other stuff stealing time away from writing. Because here's the thing, we all have this natural habit of like compartmentalizing our lives. We break our life up into these really neat categories. Things like health, work, relationships, community, money. You get the idea. We segregate our lives into these different categories, and we actually forget that everything is connected. Now, it may feel like your day job is totally disconnected from your writing, or that exercise has nothing to do with revising your novel, or that meeting a friend for a coffee is a really ineffective way to move the needle forward on your word count. But that's not necessarily true. So like 2 years ago, I heard this interview on the Joe Rogan podcast, and he was interviewing Chuck Palahniuk, who's the author of Fight Club. And Chuck was saying that writing is not sitting in front of a computer. That's typing. For Chuck, writing happens when he's out there living his life. He's talking with his buddies at the gym, or he's out having experiences. He's reading, he's thinking deeply, he's talking with friends, he's engaging with life. That's when writing happens for him. And this is such a kernel of truth, because writing really informs our life, and our life is informed by writing. Finding a way to create value in the mundane, though necessary, and seemingly unrelated tasks that we all have to do is such a powerful mindset shift that can actually really benefit your writing. Okay, so that's the big intro. So what exactly do I mean by all this? So let's actually get into this writing activity. Just gonna get back a little bit here so you can actually see this. So the first thing that you need to do is you're going to grab a piece of paper, and you're going to draw a little stick figure down in the corner. That's you. And then you're going to break down all of the non-related writing stuff you do every single week. So for me, I wrote down domestic, errands, platform, leisure, exercise, socializing, teaching, and then doing my doctorate/PhD. And then beneath all of these categories, I wrote down all the sort of activities that fall beneath that category. So for example, under domestic, it's like cleaning, running errands, blah. Under platform, it's social media, writing my newsletter, filming these YouTube videos, writing my blog, editing all this stuff, and then scheduling everything. And then under doctorate, I have research, meetings, email. And then under teaching, I've got like class plans, teaching the classes, emails, marketing, reading course content, and materials. So you sort of get the idea. Hold that up so you can see that. If you want a close-up of this, you can just head to my blog. I'll put the link below, and I'll have all the photos on there. Now, after you do this, what you're gonna do is you're going to think about how each of these activities could actually be used for writing. Now, I know that there are some really obvious things you could reach for. You could say, like, when I'm doing the dishes, I can daydream about my novel. When I'm driving in the car, I can think about the next scene that I'm going to write. And that stuff's really great, but I want you to sort of stretch your mind a little bit and to not reach for the first thing you think of. Really think about, how could this activity really benefit my writing? Now, you can write all of that on these particular lines, but for the sake of making this readable on camera, I did a completely new piece of paper where I wrote down the blanket category and then how that category actually supports my writing. So for example, under domestic, I wrote that when I'm doing all of this stuff, I can listen to music that really complements the mood of the novel that I'm trying to write. I can listen to podcasts, I can daydream about scenes, I can mentally revise the plot and characters through thought experiments by thinking about, what would happen? What if this? What if that? Now, under errands, I've got things like really observing the world around you when you're out there doing your thing. Like really look at, what are people wearing? How do they move? And then you can even sort of play with little stories in your mind, like, who is this person and what are they doing today? Now, socializing was actually a really big one for me because it's super easy for me to just work all the time. So when you're with people, I thought about how you really need to listen to them. You really need to pay attention to how they talk. What do they care about? What makes them really sad? What totally lights them up? And what makes them mad or angry? And all of this stuff is just really great, meaty content for creating dialogue and for creating characters. And it's basically becoming like a couch psychologist. Now, leisure is another lousy one for me because, like I said, I just like to work all the time. But what I wrote underneath here is that, you read a book or you watch a movie for fun the first time, but if you're going to reread something or if you're going to rewatch something, then you really need to use that as a learning exercise. So really dissect the content you're creating. What is working in this story? What would you do differently? How is it highlighting for you maybe places or weaknesses in your own storytelling? And then really write down any words that you aren't familiar with or any phrases that are really beautiful or inspiring, and sort of create a makeshift writing journal for yourself. Now, I'm not going to go through everything that I wrote down in this video because that would be pretty boring, but if you'd like to have a closer look, you can head over to my blog. I'll put a link below. Now, obviously, you don't have to make your whole life about writing, and in fact, you shouldn't. It's super important that you also give your brain space and your soul space to have an actual break and to think about and to do things that have nothing to do with writing. And of course, the irony is that if you spend the bulk of your day intensely focusing on writing, intensely focusing on your story, the thing is, your subconscious brain is going to continue to pick at and think about those problems even when you're not actively working on them. But the whole point of this video and the whole point of this particular activity is to show that you can, with a little bit of mindful effort, transform a morning of errands, a gym session, a party, or a workday into words on the page. You just have to make the decision. Now, I would love to hear from you. What insights did you get from this activity or even from watching this video? Please share your comments below because I'd love to hear all about it. Now, if you'd like even more writing advice, you can head to taraeast.com and dive into the archives. And while you're there, please consider joining up to my email newsletter. You'll get a sweet little email from me every week that has a bunch of goodies in it, as well as links to that week's blog and video. Plus, I'll send you a free gift. Now, if you liked this video, please hit the subscribe button or give it a thumbs up because that's what algorithms like. As always, thank you so much for watching, guys. I really hope you enjoyed this video and I hope you give this activity a go. I think it's a good one. Thank you so much for watching this video. Keep writing and I'll see you again next time.